Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Courtney and my name is Courtney. Right, okay. Take 4. Hi, my name is Courtney and this is Court Teach It. Today I want to talk about the Texes Science 4 through 8 exam and what exactly is the exam and how to pass it. So if you are on this video, you are more likely you're an aspiring teacher, or you're trying to figure out how to pass the science TEXES exam for grades 4 through 8. So to first start off, the TEXES is an exam that's for Texas, for people who are aspiring to teach grades 4 through 8 for the core subject of science. I also have my notebook right here to help me in case I forget something. So I made some notes that I need to talk about throughout the video that's vital for y'all. So yeah, so to begin, Pearson is the one who is administering the test. So when you sign up for your test, you're going to go to a Pearson site to take the exam. So the exam is 100 questions and there's 5 domains that you will be tested on. I can't remember how long it takes for the exam. I believe you get 1 hour and 30 minutes. If I'm wrong, then I will correct that on the screen. Also, the test is going to be, the score range, the lowest you can make is a 100 and the highest you can make is a 300, but to pass the exam you have to at least make a 240, and that will allow you to teach that grade for that core subject. So let's go ahead and start off with the different domains. So the first domain is going to be domain 1, and it's going to be your scientific inquiry based questions, and these kind of questions are going to be the ones that are asking you about conversions, like the metric unit conversions. So for example, centimeters to meters, things like that. And also they're going to be asking about lab safety kind of questions as well. Domain 2 is going to be your physical science. So this will include your physics, your chemistry, and your biology. Now if you are someone who actually was not on the track of being a teacher, and you maybe were like a biology major, this section is going to be easy for you. Also, if you're just naturally good in science, this section is going to be really easy for you because it's going to cover like general biology and a little bit of physics, like the easy stuff such as forces, and chemistry as well. Now domain 3 is going to be one that I recommend if you are great in biology and physics and chemistry. I would recommend to study domain 3 because domain 3 is going to be more so your 7th grade science. So if you have not been studying 7th grade science, this is going to be meaty for you, where you need to retain a lot of information quickly depending on when you take your exam. So in this section is going to include the earth and space science. So for example, some things that I saw that I would recommend that because I seen it on my exam was they talked about like they talked about weathering and erosion. They talked about the rock formation, and also what else do they have? So and then they talked about you had to know like the weather. So literally you had to know the map, like how you have the meteorologist, right? And the meteorologist will come on the screen and they'll have like a little backdrop and they'll have like the different symbols. You have to know those symbols because that question was on my test. I think they were asking about like cold front, and I had to know. They gave me like a bunch of different numbers on for the question, and then it was like these little arrows, and I had to know if it was like a cold front or a warm front depending on the temperatures. So I would say know that because that was on my test and that was important. And like I said before, rock formation, I saw that, so I would recommend to know about the rock formation as well. And then moving on to domain 4. Domain 4 is going to be like your earth and space science. I also recommend if you're someone who didn't study astrology, then I recommend to focus on this this domain as well, because this domain was tricky. It talked about the star formation. You had to know like what a supernova was. Also, they wanted you to know about the moon cycle, so going from like a new moon to a full moon or to a half moon, and you had to know the actual names, so I recommend to know that as well. And then lastly in this section, the tides, so knowing how the position of the earth, moon, and sun, how those positions can affect the tides, such as like what happens to the tides when, you know, there's a lunar eclipse or a solar eclipse. So knowing those, a good website to help you is going to be the ETS website. On that website, they have the breakdown of the exam, so it goes by domain, so each domain, and then within the domain there's like subtopics, so those subtopics are called competencies, and they have them numbered, and then they have a breakdown of what each competency will cover. So it's important to look at that, because you can see what you already know and maybe not focus so much on that and focus on the competencies that you feel like you would struggle in the most. The last domain was domain 5, and I believe that, so that domain talked about like the assessments, the formative assessments, so you have to know like what a formative assessment was, and then also it asked you questions that were like, I guess, like student based. So for example, if this happened with this student, you know, what will be the outcome, kind of thing. And that was the exam. So those are domains 1 through 5, and I also am going to show you now that my exam, so my exam is going to show you, you know, the different domains, and then the number of questions that I had in each domain, and then also the competency, how many questions were in each competency, and then you can see like what I missed, what I got right, and then you can kind of calculate how many you need to pass. So I know that for the test they give you 100 questions, but not all 100 count towards the exam. So some of them are just I guess like pilot questions that they throw in there. So you can look at my exam and see how many I missed. I made a 254 score, so you can see how many I missed, kind of gauge how many you need to get right to pass. And I hope that this helps. Also, I would love to hear from you guys, so any feedback. This is my first video and I'm nervous. So I hope this, I just wanted to basically vlog or, you know, talk about my experience, because when I was going through the process, there wasn't anyone out here on YouTube or even like blog websites that talked about the science portion of being a teacher. So I'm hoping that with my experience I can help other teachers or aspiring teachers along this process. So if you have any suggestions or any comments for me, leave them in the comment box below. I would love to hear from you. And leave any recommendations on videos that you would like to see as well, because I am a new teacher and I'm still in the alternative program. Those who don't know what that is, it's when you did not get an education degree in college, you maybe got a different type of degree, and then you wanted to be a teacher. It's an alternative route to where you don't have to go back to a 4-year university to start teaching. You can actually start teaching right away. If you want to hear about that story, definitely let me know and I can talk about that in the upcoming videos. But until next time, I will see y'all later, and I'm going to go ahead and show you my exam now. Bye. Okay, so here is my my test information. So as you can see, it goes through the different domains and it shows you the different competencies. The competency is going to be the different topics within that particular topic. So I guess these are like the subtopics of the topic. And it's showing you how many I got right. It's showing you the questions, how many questions were actually, you know, on that part of the exam. And then come on camera, I don't know, my camera it's not focusing. Let's see. Okay. Come on. She doesn't want to focus. There we go. And then as you can see right here, it's showing you like how many you got right. You can calculate how many you got wrong. And then also it shows you which part you did not do that great in. So as you can see, I didn't do that great in the competency 2 because I only got 1 out of the 3 questions they asked me correctly. And so I'm gonna just keep scrolling down for you guys so that you can see. You can pause it where you need to pause it to kind of gauge on, you know, what area you think you should study more in based off of my results and, you know, what I discussed throughout the video. But here's domain 2, physical science. And then domain 3 with the life science. Domain 4 is earth science. And then domain 5, which is the science, learning, instruction, and assessment. So yeah, I really hope that this helps you guys throughout your process of taking the exam. I know when I was looking for information about the science 4 through 8, there was no information out there. So that's why I want to be the one to provide information for y'all, because I know how hard it was not knowing what's going to be on the exam or what should I study more of and less of. And you know, I wanted to see someone who actually had the information out there to help me, to guide me on how to be successful. And so I really hope that by me doing this and I'm opening up my experience to you all, that it helps you on your path to being a great science teacher. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.